Who is your next witness? We back on with Sergeant Williams. Yes, we ask Sergeant Williams to come in, please.
Yes, sir.
It'll be a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back on the record. We all ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
All right, bring the jury in. Jury entered. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Please be seated. Let the record once again reflect the presence of our defendant, Mr. Demons, his counsel, the assistant state attorneys, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and our witness, Christopher Williams. Sergeant Williams remains on the stand. Sergeant, I just remind you, you still remain under oath, all right? And I think we're in the middle of your cross-examination.
Yes, I have nothing more for Sergeant Williams. Thank you.
Okay. No further questions. All right. Is there any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Sergeant. How are you?
Good morning, Ms. Cortlen.
So with regards to the autopsy photos and things that you reviewed, how were you able to get the approximate shoulder width of Mr. Thomas?
So the medical examiner's office, they use a scale that it's a big ruler that goes the length of the autopsy table where the decedent is lying.
Okay. In terms of that, so you got that 2 feet 6 inches from approximately?
Approximately.
Okay. In terms of, counsel asked you with regards to the multiple times as to how did you rule out that someone was outside the car? Why? Why did you do that?
And that was explained in them also multiple times. It's the blood that was on the headliner, the lack of blood in the passenger side rear seat, and the GSR that was inside the vehicle.
Okay. With regards to ejection pattern testing that counsel asked you about, if you're going to do an ejection pattern, what would you have to do?
You'd have to have the firearm, and you'd have to have the ammunition to conduct that test.
And in terms of the time frame on the casings, is it important to find them immediately after?
It would be very important to find them immediately after.
So a month delay in finding them. Could you do ejection pattern testing if it's a month later?
You can, well, if you have the firearm, you can do ejection pattern testing. How it would apply to on the side of the road, you would have to do that on the side of the road with that firearm.
And if individuals have gone back and picked up casings from the scene, how would that affect ejection pattern recreation?
Individuals as in strangers?
4 people that were friends with the defendant. They went back to the side of the road.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
If individuals went and picked up casings, not knowing they were involved.
Objection. There's no evidence of that.
As to that question is overruled, the objection is overruled.
So if they were picked up, it could alter it, but at the end of the day, it still needs to be measured.
So in terms of the shots that are in this vehicle. How can you tell the approximate distance that the shots were fired from?
The approximate distance is obviously going, as I said, this is a unique case where our shooting is contained to a vehicle. So we have known distances within the vehicle. We have known distances of the, not necessarily the arm, but we have a known distance of inside of the width of people, and the stippling pattern that is on Christopher Thomas, who's on the back seat, and some of the stippling that is observed on Anthony Williams, who was in the front seat.
What about on the outside of the car? How can you tell that that wasn't shot from a mile away?
You can tell that it wasn't shot from a mile away by the angle of it and its type of impact into the vehicle. So if it's shot from a mile away, the projectile is going to start tumbling again. It's going to go head over heel. As it loses velocity, as it loses its spin, it's going to start wobbling, and then eventually will start going its head over heel and then keyhole into its target.
Did you see any evidence of distant fire in this case?
No.
In terms of the defendant in this case, you said you measured him?
Yes.
Do you recall about what date that occurred on?
Can I repeat it?
If you need to refresh your recollection, please do.
November 30th of 2021.
And at the time that you measured him, was it here in the courthouse?
Yes.
And that's where your office was at the time?
Yes.
And could you describe his build?
He's slender, but he's tall but slender.
Okay. And in terms of, would you say that he has broad shoulders?
No.
And you said he was 5'6", right?
Correct.
In terms of that car that we were talked about, what's the best way to get an idea of how big the inside of that car is?
You can measure it, or you can also view it.
And where is that car right now?
That car is in the crime scene unit forensic processing garage right now.
Is it available for the jury to view this morning?
Yes.
Here, if we may approach.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Madam State, who's the next witness?
Judge, we're just requesting a 5-minute recess to set up some videos for the rest
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take a short recess. Do not discuss the case. Don't form any opinion about the case. Don't allow anyone to discuss the case in your presence concerning no research. The door reflected your stepped out. We'll be in recess.